Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and it's a great pleasure to be able to tell you that my new book, Guided Guitar Arpeggio Practice Routines, is finally out and available for you to purchase. Check out the links below and grab yourself a copy on Amazon today. So what is this book? Well, this is the third book in a series. I did a book on scales, I did a book on chords, so it makes sense that I do a book on arpeggios. And what is a guided practice routine? Well, I've been doing guided practice routines over on my Patreon page for a good few years now, and they've been very well received. So when I moved them over to book form, they were equally well received because they feel quite different to most guitar books that you're going to buy, because not only do I present you with all of the material that you need to know, but they are organized in an actual routine for you to practice. And I provide you with the audio for both the examples being played, but then at the end, there's also a full routine play along, which I play with you so you can practice along with me, and I talk you through it whilst we're doing it. So there's lots of encouragement and additional pointers, things that might not necessarily have made it into the text, but things that occur to me whilst I'm playing the examples. So the idea is that you practice with me once a day for a week, and then at the end of that week, you should be ready to move on to the next week. So what are we covering in arpeggio practice routines? Well, it would make sense that we look at triads because, of course, that's something that's very important, near and dear to me. And we look at those in what I would call both vertical and horizontal positioning. So vertical being the traditional arpeggio positions, and horizontal exercises are ones where we are tackling a lot more of the fretboard, where we are moving along the neck. So I do a lot of exercises breaking down how to work on and develop the ability to shift through your positions while you're playing, rather than being forced to stay in one particular position. Now, of course, we do that for major sounds, we do that for minor sounds, and there's a lot of talk about picking technique because, of course, I'm very, very big on the consistent, relaxed, never thinking about it, alternate picking. It helps with our tone, it helps with our timing, so there's a lot of that in there. Now, of course, once we move on from there, you would expect seventh chords, and they are there as well. We're going to look at all of our diatonic seventh chords in a major scale, but we'll go a little bit outside by dealing in things like diminished arpeggios and the fingerings for things like this. And then we'll tie it all together with routine work where we start working on these arpeggios over chord progressions. So there's a lot of, major and minor triad work over chord progressions, but also we'll be looking at seventh chords. Definitely gets a little bit jazzy in places because that's a common place that you're going to see some of those seventh chords. But also we'll look at combining triads and seventh chords over one chord. So being able to play over a C major chord and knowing, you don't just have to play a C major arpeggio over that. We can combine lots of different arpeggios to make more interesting sounds. Once we move beyond there, we'll start looking at extended arpeggios. So being able to play arpeggios that aren't even necessarily arpeggios based on the root note, things like 3 to 9 arpeggios, or being able to play major 9 arpeggios, 11 arpeggios, 13 arpeggios, full extended arpeggio work, and even interesting things like sus and add arpeggio. So like an add 9 arpeggio is a really, really beautiful sound. And then at the end of the book, we tie it all together with a series of etudes over different chord progressions. We've got a kind of rock chord progression, there's a blues chord progression, there's a more laid-back ballady jazz chord progression, and then we have an all-out, bebop, kill yourself level of complexity and some of the more complicated things that I've ever recorded. So I really do hope that you enjoy it, and go and grab a copy, and of course leave a review and let me know what you think. Now, if you do have any questions about this, please do let me know in that comments section below. I'm here, always reading, always happy to give you feedback and help with any questions that you might have. So thanks very much for checking out this video. I'll see you in the book. Laters.